Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is all about helping people navigate through their spiritual awakening process. And today's video is going to be about enlightenment. And I'm going to give you 7 signs that you're on the road, you're making progress towards transcending your ego and becoming more enlightened. Number 1 is you feel bipolar. You have incredibly intense ups and downs, almost throughout most of your awakening journey, quite frankly. A lot of highs where you feel on top of the mountain, where you see your life from a vastly different perspective, a more enlightened perspective. You're connecting the dots of things that have perhaps eluded you within your life journey, your whole life, and now you can just see it with such clarity. And this is also usually accompanied by just feeling really good, feeling spiritually connected, things going well for you, and then you go back in. You start going back in deep inside of yourself, and you become more bombarded with more of your ego structure. And you start to feel the heavy emotions associated with that ego structure. Your life starts kind of manifesting problems and issues and different situations that trigger intense emotions, and then it's like, oh God, and that lasts a little while, but then you come out of it. You transcend all that stuff. You went in to do some work, some deep sea diving into yourself, and now once that's gone, you're come up again for a breath of fresh air, and even more expanded, more enlightened, more blissful state of consciousness. And it's just kind of goes up and down like that to varying degrees, not always way up and way down. Some kind it's sort of all over the place. Number 2 is you'll notice pretty quickly that your dreams are changing in many ways. You become more lucid in them. They become more vivid. Oftentimes, depending on whether you're on that up or down, they'll be very dark and extra scary and creepy, and again, just vividly scary and wow, you know, or blissful. You might contact a spirit guide, or a deceased loved one might come to you, and you might have dreams where it's very bright and illuminated, and you feel almost spiritual sensations in that dream. And that's just it's a sign that you're becoming more conscious, more enlightened, and that's going to translate into all areas of your life, of course, including your dreams. Your dreams will reflect that expanding consciousness that you now are. Number 3, glimpses of the Zen-like state. Periods where the Zen-like state, the state of self-mastery, comes very easily to you. One of my teachers I used to read, in fact, it's in this book, my dog got to, Adashante, The End of Your World is the name of it. He calls this the I got it, I lost it syndrome. And that's where you got it. Oh my God, I'm enlightened. I get it, it's so obvious. All the different things going on in your life, regardless good or bad, you're like impervious to the effect it has on you emotionally. You find it very, very effortless to stay in the moment and to follow your intuitive divine path. Everything just comes very easily to you. That's like the nature of enlightenment, and you get it, but then you lose it. Okay, but you'll get glimpses of your progress, glimpses of the Zen state. Number 4 is your life on all levels speeds up at a rate that you almost feel like if it goes any faster, you're not going to be able to handle it. This can be just the way your life is changing, the amount of internal work you're doing, the amount, mostly just the way you're trying to just keep up, because you're changing so quickly. You're on this path of awakening. You're becoming more enlightened and as a result, you change from the inside first, and then you quickly try to keep up with those internal changes by adjusting all these different things. Because as you change from the inside, your interests, your preferences, your goals, your desire, your motives for doing anything start to shift and become more in alignment with your true self. And as a result, you quickly realize how much of your life no longer matches, reflects, or is in alignment at all with who you now are. So you change. Oh, I gotta quit this job. I gotta move out of my house. I gotta get rid of this car. I gotta adjust my finances. I gotta get out of this relationship. I gotta change my clothes. I don't even like these clothes. I gotta quit this yoga studio. I don't even like yoga. That was, you know, and it's just fast. And not only that, your perception of reality seems to speed up as well. It just seems like the world is going faster than you can keep up with. But you'll never get beyond that point to offer you any little comfort, as a tangent side note. It never gets beyond the threshold of what you can actually handle. So fear not if this is happening to you. Number 5, a bona fide, legit identity crisis of the deepest kind. You'll start, as you quickly become confronted with who you're not, which is basically what your awakening is doing. It's revealing to you who and what you are not. As this happens, it begs the question, well, who am I? What do I like? What do I want? How do I want my life to be? But you won't know all the time. You won't have the answers right away. You'll just have the emptiness, that void. And this can create an identity crisis. You're fighting to discover and reclaim who you are. You know who you're not, and that's no longer working. That's kind of being cast away. You haven't really gotten a clear idea of who you are, and you're left as this big question mark. And it can be pretty intense on many levels. It can be kind of scary. It can be sort of depressing. It's just kind of a challenging experience. But it's a sign you're becoming more enlightened. And it's only temporary. It doesn't last. And it's replaced with energies, ideas, rediscoveries of who you actually are. And it makes it all worth it, I promise you. Number 6 is you develop psychic abilities, legit and bona fide psychic abilities, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, the ability to perceive auras and lights and energy around people. You might just see energy in an open space. You'd be sitting there in your living room and you can perceive energy. Telepathy, you'll be able to know what someone's going to say. They'll say something that you were just thinking. It'll blow your mind. You might have precognitions. You might, oh my God, this is going to happen. And then it does happen. Deja vu. All these different things you'll start to experience. Those are natural abilities of an awakened consciousness. They're not extraordinary. They're not skills you have to learn and acquire. Sometimes it does help if you want to enhance an ability to work at it. But generally, it comes natural to an evolved and awakened soul. And as you evolve and awaken and get closer and closer to enlightenment, you'll just start to find yourself naturally more and more psychic on all levels. Number 7, the startling, unsettling realization of how big of a freaking nut job you really are and have always been. You realize in a disturbing degree of lucidity and clarity how dysfunctional, neurotic, insecure, defensive, and fearful you are and have always been, because you start to see it from the outside. You start to see it from the enlightened perspective. And suddenly it's so clear. And again, it is a little bit disturbing, because for a little while there, you'll feel, even though you're aware of it, you still feel influenced by it. It still is somewhat taking control of you, even though a little bit less than before. It's still there. And it can be a little frustrating, as you can see that, wow, I keep making these same stupid mistakes, and I know why I'm making them, and yet I freaking can't stop it. But that's okay, man, because you expand. Most people live as if they are the combination of all their neurosis, and they can't see outside of it. There's no space. So they're literally possessed and asleep, as many people call, and just duped by that phony identity, which is just a combination of their egoic collections of dysfunction, essentially. You start to expand out of it, and you get a little space, and you say, oh, okay. You see what's going on, but there's still too much baggage, and you're still too close to it to really kind of oscillate back and forth. One of the reasons why you have all these ups and downs, but that's just the beginning. You continue to expand, and more distance, more space becomes apparent to you that is in between you and that. And you can see very clearly that you are not that. You never have been that. And you never will be that again.